Hello, happy St. Patrick's Day. We are going to discuss building a digital marketing program to win local customers today. So let's do it. First and foremost, my name is Maddie Park. I am the Director of Marketing for NetCertive. I've been here about 8 months. Prior to NetCertive, I was at Threshold Brands as their Director of Franchise Development. We had about 8 different brands under that umbrella. And then my husband and I also own about 15 franchise locations across 3 different brands over here in the Philadelphia area. So they thought it would be the best bet for me to do this webinar since I have been in your shoes. I've also been a franchisor, and we can kind of dig into more granular details surrounding your marketing and how it's going to work best for you. Of course, scan this QR code. I'm happy to connect on LinkedIn. Got a lot of connections on there and love to network and introduce people to others that can be of help. So go ahead and do that. So we're just going to jump right into it. We're skipping the agenda and intros. You guys get it. We're NetCertive. We're a preferred vendor, or we're already working with you. My job here is to educate and not sell. So that is what we're going to do. So the first question we want to answer is why digital marketing or why marketing at all, right? The truth of the matter is without digital marketing, your business will not grow. Plain and simple. So you need to be where people are and advocate for yourself and your business. They are waiting for you to come to them. So, and I spoke at the Mosquito Shield conference earlier, and I said, look, the reason why we have to be on all of these different digital marketing platforms is because you're not sure when every single person is ready to buy, that purchase intent, right? So if someone's ready to, all of a sudden they get bit by a mosquito and they're like, that's it, I've had it, I'm booking a mosquito service. They're not waiting for one of your trucks to drive by. They are not walking around the neighborhood looking for a yard sign. They're Googling, right? And that's where you need to be. Or how many times have you been in a store and then they didn't have it, or you're like, oh, this is a little expensive, and then you Google to see if there's any promo codes. So even if, you're sending direct mailers, you're doing the guerrilla marketing, you like the classic kind of traditional marketing, if you will, everyone's going to the digital space to verify for referrals, and ultimately to book and buy. So that is why you have to be there. Another thing I like to say is you can't just be there, you have to be involved. And that is what a lot of franchisees hate about it, because it takes a lot of time, especially when it comes to social. And I like to say, if you put a toy in Toys R Us, the chances, and you don't tell anyone about it, the chances that someone seeing that toy, picking it up and buying it, probably pretty slim. Maybe a couple, but probably pretty slim. Now, if you put a new toy in and you splash it around and you use marketing and billboards and tell everyone that comes in the store, look at this new toy, look at this new toy, your ROI is going to go up. And that is the same thing for your business. And I want you to think of your digital presence as yourself. That's how you're representing your business. While we are small business owners and franchisees, and it's great, the franchisors go out, shake hands, kiss babies, all that stuff. While that's great, there's only so much of you that goes around. So the digital has to represent how you are as a business owner and how you want your business to be. It's your digital storefront. So at a glance, this is kind of what 2022 marketing looks like. You've got your digital, radio and TV meaning, CTV or OTT ads, print, your guerrilla marketing, and of course your trade shows. Now, 65% of digital marketing accounted for over half the ad spend in 2021. Obviously, everyone's on social media. 177 billion was spent on social ads, and then along with that, 145 billion spent on paid search. So here's another thing: is if you're thinking, well, I don't have a huge budget to market, and I can't, compete with these big stores. Well, Google's algorithm is created to give the consumer the best option based on their keywords and location. Meaning that if you decide, oh, that's it, I can't compete against Target or, a huge competitor in my industry or in my neighborhood, and you're not on there at all, you don't even give yourself a chance. like I said, that's the Toys R Us metaphor there. If you're putting the correct budget and using the correct keywords in, you're at least in the mix. And if you're doing things correctly, Google will reward the businesses and make sure, like with SEO and PPC, that you are showing up. So it's not just about, I have a little budget and I have a big budget. There's a lot of tactical things that go into that. And again, you have to be in the mix. You got to pay to play. That's just how it's working these days. So what is components of a successful local marketing strategy look like? And I'll go into kind of the responsibilities in the next slide, but first and foremost, the most important is, you have your website, and within website, I'm talking about your landing pages too, or your microsite, whichever place is converting leads to your local office. We got to make sure that that is wrapped up tight and converting. Now, if your franchisor is in charge of this, that is something that they should be holding their work accountable for. Is I've worked with a franchisor that had very poor landing pages that didn't convert correctly until finally, we got them to A/B test the creative, or, make the form shorter, and it made a world of change. So make sure you're holding your franchisor accountable. If you're getting clicks and leads and your franchisor is mandating it to a specific landing page or website, and they're not converting, that's a red flag right there. So you got to have something that converts. Paid search, again, just what I just spoke about. Sorry, I had a lot of coffee. I'm just talking really fast. Paid search, again, you have to pay to play and beyond that. That's going to be where the bulk of your leads are coming in. That's going to be the bulk of your SEO, your digital footprint, and also, where you're going to get the most qualified leads. So then you're going to layer in some paid social. From that tends to be more brand awareness. And I think people know that there is a psychology behind marketing that people need to see around 7 to 9 images or visuals or, campaigns from you before they even open the door to saying, yes, I'll click on a website. So if you're not there, and they're only going on paid search, well, those clicks cost. So for social, it kind of offsets the cost and gives you some great brand awareness. And again, you can be there when people are ready to buy. And then you can layer in some retargeting, meaning people who visited your website, and it kind of follows them around. Display, we've got referral and review campaigns, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. And then your analytics, making sure you're looking at them, you're optimizing them, and we'll get into a little bit how to do the best analytic review later. So then next down, and this will vary a little bit by industry. We're in the home services industry where direct mail still works really well. The bulk of our spend is still in digital media, but direct mail still works, especially for such a seasonal business. So there's a little give and take there. But the next tier down would be your direct mail, your video and your CTV, and your guerrilla marketing, meaning if you're doing yard signs, if you're doing van wraps, if you're, any of those sort of things. These are the ones that are going to layer in not only brand awareness, but help with local leads. And then also, again, supporting the digital, and can also be a front for getting people to convert. If you send a direct mail out and say $500, I don't want to say $500 off. That's not realistic. So like $150 off your season mosquito and tick treatment. They're going to be like, hey, that's great. I want to utilize this promo, and then go digital and convert that way. So kind of a trigger point there. And then last on the tippy top is trade shows and other print shows. And the reason I say this is because while I know there's going to be certain local things that people are convinced works or want to work, or maybe it does work, maybe it's the cafe's paper placemats logo, or it's your son's Little League baseball sponsorship banner, whatever, what have you. While those are great, they're not trackable, and they're very hard to convert, meaning it is purely brand awareness. So any of that spend should be, on the third layer down, because again, the goal here is to make sure every marketing dollar is working for you and every marketing avenue is being held accountable. It's very hard to hold trade shows, events, puppy shows, and print accountable for the spend simply because the tracking's not there and user intent at those sort of things varies, you know? So while it looks like a great influx, you got to make sure I'm just doing this for brand awareness and that's in my brand awareness budget, not, you know, this is coming out of my monthly, I need leads budget. Hopefully that makes sense. And if you guys have questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'll answer them at the end just because I'm bad at checking it while I'm talking. But feel free to throw in some questions. So who should be responsible for this? These are just my suggestions. And obviously it's going to vary depending on FDDs and brands. But for this top one, it really is the franchisor / their preferred vendor's responsibility. And I say this because marketing is rocket science. Everyone out there is trying to just explain to you, no, it's actually easy. It's this and that. No, there's reasons why these are people's only jobs. Like my mortgage is purely paid through me trying to understand marketing. So it is very complex. It is very time consuming. And it does take a lot of expertise, not only in marketing, but, you know, specific SEO and keywords. So this is something that you should lean on your franchisor, whether they're doing it internal or your preferred vendors like NetSurtive, because they have the expertise, they have the technology, they have the support. While sure, you can try and do it yourself to save some money, or your daughter's in college and she knows marketing, a friend down the street has a marketing company. The fact of the matter is the more of your locations that are in one area or in one vendor, the more data you're going to get to drive better optimization and results. And second, it's purely plain and simple. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you're going to do it well. So I see a lot of this with social media where it's, oh, my employee's son is going to do an internship for me and do social media. Well, there's a difference between just posting on social media and posting for a specific reason and targeting that back. So really, really take a look at your vendors because they are there to support you. And a lot of times, if something doesn't work out on a vendor level or your franchisor needs to be held accountable, there's a safety net there. You know, when you're dealing with a whole group of people rather than just a one-off, you're probably less likely to get screwed, for lack of better terms. And again, even if it costs a little more to use either their service or the vendors, that's going to pay itself in dividends with what you're going to get back. This is the most important. Just like this is like your baby, and you're not just going to give it to some random person on the street that's like, hey, I know how to take care of kids. So think of it that way. Direct mail, video, CTV, guerrilla marketing, both preferred vendors and franchisees. Obviously, you guys are not sending out direct mail on your own in your kitchen. So you're going to use your vendors for that. Same thing with video and CTV. And then yourselves are probably going to be the ones that are doing the guerrilla marketing, putting out the yard signs, yeah, all that stuff. And then lastly, on the smaller end, the trade shows and the print, that should be you guys. Obviously, anything that's franchisee implemented should be supported by the home office. So make sure you're holding your home office accountable, saying, okay, this is what I'm going to spend in this, and help talk me through what I should be looking for in terms of numbers. That's one really good way to make sure whatever you're spending on marketing outside of digital, again, you're holding that channel accountable for. And then the majority of the creative should be created and managed by your franchisor. If they're not already doing that, definitely something to put a request in, or at least see if they can do like a brand folder or an ink bench, which is a kind of a dam for all of the creative assets. Because the easier you have access to the creative, obviously that's going to just make everyone's life more streamlined. So definitely something important there. Moving on. Okay, so you get it. I've preached to you. How am I supposed to do it now? So the first step, like I said, is to utilize your vendors and your home office expertise. Even if, which is not the case on this call, but even if your home office doesn't have a vendor in place and doesn't want to do it internally, they have the network and expertise to help you find someone. So don't forget that it's okay to lean on your home office. And again, if you're working with a vendor and you don't like them and you're not seeing results, I don't want to say right away, but usually within the 2 to 4 month mark, cut your losses and move on to another vendor. A good friend of mine who's a huge franchisee with Burger King once told me, you know, you got to fail fast. If you're failing, don't drag it out. If you're not seeing results in your marketing and, you know, but you like the people, hopefully it'll turn around. Nope, this is your child. Cut your losses and find something that's gonna work best. Be accountable. Next, matching your advertising channels to user intent. Digital pay-per-click advertising, that should be give me my leads. What I am paying for leads, give me my leads. Social media, a little mix. I am expected to get a low level of leads, but high, you know, click-throughs to the website, high impressions, high engagement. Make sure that you're estimating that correctly, because you don't want to just throw social media to the same goals that you have paid digital, because that's just not realistic. And the same thing with paying for digital ad and then sending out a postcard mailer in a co-op. You know, you're not going to get the same results. So make sure you have goals matched to that intent. And also, you know, to user intent. So for the majority of us on this call, yeah, we don't need to use TikTok for leads for our businesses. That might be great for a millennial t-shirt company, but for us, it could be great brand awareness. I have a location called Men in Kilts where all of our techs wear kilts when they clean windows. Yes, this is a big day for us, even though that's a Scottish thing. I'm gonna roll it all in. So TikTok's great because people like to do that, but we don't get any sales from that. And same thing with Pinterest. Pinterest is like the perfect spot to get like working moms or stay-at-home moms and families looking for help around the house. Nobody's going to Pinterest to buy. Their intent is never to buy on Pinterest. So while you can be there for brand awareness, your expectations shouldn't be, you know, I should be getting leads from there. Please make sure all your pages are created, up to date, and used regularly. This means your Google My Business page, your Instagram, your Facebook. Bonus points if you know the login, because when you start switching vendors and logging and these and that changes, a lot of the times the usernames and the passwords get lost and you end up having to start all over again. So whether it's your franchisor creating the pages and then you're managing them, make sure you have some sort of content going out on a regular cadence along with your paid ads, so that the algorithm continues to stack up. You're showing your audience that you are active, that you are in your business, so that when they go to check you out, you're going to qualify as legit. And the only reason I say that is, oh, I'm posting blogs and articles and reposting pictures and no one sees it, no one engages with it. Well, this would be like walking past a storefront and you see some people walking around, or you see some clothes. You might not like it, but you see them and they're in there and they're open. If there's a business and it's just pure black in there, you're like, all right, I guess that business went out of business. So keep that in mind. The digital footprint matters. Have a review and a referral plan. So a lot of franchisors are implementing like auto reviews or an auto referral plan, whether that is through your franchisor or through a vendor, or you're still doing it manually. Make sure there's a plan in place, because people still rely on people. You know, I know this is a lot of tech forward thinking, but it really is tech and human and tech, not human versus tech. So that's still, you know, important for your local leads. And then utilizing your digital word of mouth, joining the moms groups in your Facebook group, joining the school or the neighborhood groups. And when people are asking, you know, be on there, be active, whether it's you or there's a tech that can run and ping keywords, or you know, one of your employees. You know, that's another great way to get referrals without necessarily having your customers right away. So those are some quick things you can do. And then on the digital side, since I'm forcing digital all on you today, is you've got to dominate your market territory online. And basically what that means is when someone's ready to buy, on their way to buying, specifically interested in what you're selling, this is what it looks like. They're searching bathroom remodeling near me, mosquito service near me, home cleaning near me, or best cleaners in the area. And when they search that, again, if you're not on paid search, if you're not on social, if you're not doing any of that, you 100% will not come up. We are too deep into the digital spend age. You will not come up. And that is not what you want when you need local leads. So, what determines, your organic and local SEO or discoverability? So this is why I say you've got to lean on the vendors, because this is stuff that is complex. And while you can do it yourself and teach yourself, you shouldn't necessarily be doing that or optimizing on a recurring basis. You should be working, as they say, on your business, not in your business. And this is a very, daunting task. So you want to make sure your pages are constructed correctly, the content's constructed correctly. You've got inbound links linking to you, your pages are converting, your local listings are up, your local ads are up, your reviews are on there. So it's a constant kind of wheel that needs to be monitored. And if you're trying to do it while everything else in your business, it's probably going to end up falling to the wayside. And that can really hurt when it comes to sales, especially if you're seasonal and you get spikes in sales. So, and this is kind of an example of what I mean with digital. So PPC, Google Ads, search, this is kind of what they're looking for. This is going to come up. Here's your FAQs. They're coming up 1, 2, 3 on the page, usually after it's your Facebook page. You've got social ads, which usually click through to either a phone number or a landing page. So we're not asking Facebook or Instagram to convert it. We're sending them to our specific landing page, which was made to convert. And same thing, there's some display here as well that would be on other medias. So this is, an example of what things look like. When people click, then they're going to start getting retargeted because now they're cookied and it's going to be followed around. Again, don't have to do all of this. I'm going to say it, you have to do this. At least do this. If not, you're just not going to see that consistent lead flow or an increase in lead flow that you need for your business. So again, best practices for paid advertising. This really shouldn't fall on your shoulders, but to be fully transparent, I want to show what goes into it. So you've got your custom audience. Those are your target market, the people that are your customers you're trying to advertise to. And listen, this can even be employees. I know employees are tough to come by too. So same thing with paid advertising for employees. Your ideal candidate, your ideal customer right here. Then you've got your affinity audience. So users based on what they're passionate about and their habits and interests. This is much more granular. You've got the in-market, so users based on their recent search history. And then of course, remarketing, users that interacted with your business. So as we get more granular in this filter, it's important to have support or a technology that can identify these people, because again, you're not just, handing somebody, thousands of dollars and getting, boxes of Girl Scout cookies where you're like immediate satisfaction. This is like kind of in the cloud and marketing. And I'm hoping it's where every single dollar should go to one of these people, right? That makes so much sense. However, if you are not utilizing a good vendor, you're trying to do it yourself, the home office is maybe trying to do it and not having great success, this will probably be, low 50%. So think of all the money that's being wasted by people seeing your paid ads that are not your target audience. So that's just a big win right there. Oh, making sure all of my dollars spent go to people who actually have the money and want to buy my service. So that's, just a very kind of wake up call example there. So how do you track success with reporting? Because there's a million numbers. Every platform has their own dashboard and it's going to spit out whatever numbers you want. If they want you to pay more, they're going to be in the red and you're like, why am I in the red? This is terrible. So let me take you through it. So this is our dashboard, but or Google dashboard, our dashboard, they're similar. So what you want to be looking at are the numbers that you're going to continue to hear in your business, which is clicks, conversions, calls, and traffic. So those are your big life rafts. And let me take you to the next slide, actually. we'll go back to this one. So when I say in a sea of numbers, look for the life rafts. So traffic and clicks, leads, conversions, CPC, which is cost per click, and CPL, which is cost per lead, reach, likes, impressions, and engagement. And this is why. If your traffic is low, that means your SEO is poor and your awareness is poor. No one is going to your website. So that is your big red flag of what to fix, probably on the franchisor side. Same thing with the clicks. Your creative needs to be revamped if you're not getting clicks, but you're getting impressions. Leads and conversions, that means if your landing pages are not converting or your direct mail is not getting call, that sort of thing, that means, again, your creative needs to be rethought and probably tested again because it's not hitting the message it needs to hit. Cost per click and cost per lead. If they are too high, there's going to be a benchmark that I'm sure you're all aware of. If they are over the benchmark, you got to look at, okay, my cost per click is too expensive, which means I'm not getting enough of them, which means there's not enough people going to the page. So again, website. And same thing with your leads. So reach and likes, less important, but on the social stance, reach is how many people, got out there or your creative was out there and that saw it. And likes, obviously, people that like the post. That's the same thing with engagement. How many people are engaging with your post? Obviously, anything you post, you want skyrocket engagement. Probably not going to happen, especially when it compares to a paid ad. And then impressions is the number of times it was, I believe, shown to someone. So while these are on the less important side, obviously you're aiming for a lot of high numbers in all of these. And again, look for the big red flags. Low engagement, gotta change up the creative. Low likes, that varies based on your audience. But again, making sure that whatever's in the red is not just, oh, I have terrible cost per click and that's just how it is in my area. Not true. We can fix that. And here's an example of why it's important to continue to optimize. So you have your digital setup with a vendor, your internal team, and all your pages look good and you're doing what you need to do and you've made your goals. So, and this is also why it's important to kind of be in the space where your fellow franchisees are because of data. So the first thing that, a vendor or the platform or your internal team is going to look for is trends that are associated to higher ROI, meaning specific keywords, negative competitor keywords, and making sure whatever's delivering the highest ROI, whether it be click or conversion, we're going to lean into that. And they're going to reallocate a lot of the budget towards those specific keywords or trends, meaning you don't just give Google your entire budget and say, here you go, make it work. You have to delegate specific spends to specific areas. Very complex. And then, so as it's reallocating the budget to trends that are working, now you're going to start seeing your ROI continue to grow because it's learning, it's engaging, and it's just boosting and getting more targeted towards your audience. So the thing that sucks about this, in all honesty, is this changes hour by hour, day by day. This isn't something that you can just turn on and hope for the best. And I have experience here on both the franchisor and franchisee side. And the problem is, if you're not working with a team that's built to scale, your marketing, all of this digital that I told you that I'm sure is weighing on your shoulders now, is going to be set it and forget it. Okay. So meaning if they don't have a technology so NetSertive's technology does this in the background and does it automatically. That's one of the reasons I came to work here. It worked for our personal businesses so well that I was like, every franchisee needs to know about this because it's doing it automatically. We had an internal team that they had to manage 300 accounts and there's just not enough time in the day. They don't have access to the technology. So they're setting everything up, pushing a budget, making sure they're meeting that budget every month, and then trying to get more money from the franchisees to increase the spend, and that's just, it's unfortunate because while your accounts can be on and seemingly doing well, you're meeting your spend every month, you're getting, this many leads. It could be 100 times better if you had a technology or a team working to identify what is working and making it even better. So you really don't want set it and forget it. That's important to keep in mind, because a lot of agencies have people internally that work on commission. That's like, oh, you met your spend, you got to increase your budget, because they're getting a percentage of your spend and not really caring where it's going. Again, you want all of your spend to go to someone who's in your target audience, not really caring to where it's going and just caring that you're meeting your spend and everything looks like it's in the green. You want something that is, like I said, you can dig in with either your support system and the dashboard and have full transparency into allocating where every single dollar is going, and understanding what that dollar is doing for you. So I talked very fast, but I'll leave you with this. Is what I like to say is, think of marketing as one of your employees. Okay, set them up for success, invest in their growth, and allow them to do the work for you. You are not going to hire someone and say, okay, go do your first job, good luck, and expect them to, 1, do it, 2, do it well, and 3, do it in a way that it's going to encourage others to sign on. If you have an employee like that, please send them my way, but probably not going to happen. So same thing goes for your marketing. You need to set it up for success. You have to invest in it, just like you do your employees, whether it's the training, it's the uniforms, it's their benefits. You got to invest some money in order for them to grow. And then once you've done that, allow the marketing to work for you. A lot of times I see franchisees, well, I tried it for 2 weeks and it didn't work. I tried it for a month and it didn't work. So while yes, I also said fail fast, be realistic. Digital timing takes, some growth and build up. So I usually say about 3 months, so you can start seeing real results. Same thing, like allow your direct mail and your social media to start layering. Give it the time, because if you just turn on social media for a month and then turn it back off, you're not getting enough data to understand, was it what you were putting out? Was it the actual platform? Was it not timed correctly with your direct mailers or your digital ads? There's so many components in there. So again, 3 months is usually a good time frame to test or pilot something. And definitely don't be afraid to ask your franchisor to pilot, or if you meet a vendor and you really like them, introduce them to the home office. They can kind of put them through the trial and error to see if it's something that, could potentially be piloted through the National Advertising Fund. So you're not having to risk your personal money or your business money right away. And, brands are always looking to evolve. So there's always these new things, new tech that's coming out to help small business owners. So definitely don't ever be afraid to ask the franchisor, because a lot of times on the back end, we're very open and excited to see that. And then on the agency side, don't be afraid to hold them accountable. Hey guys, I'm not seeing what I want, or you recommended this campaign and, I should have gotten this many leads and I got less. A bad vendor is going to say, well, we did our best, sorry. A good vendor is going to be like, I see that, let's look into it. Now, I'm not promising that they can necessarily change it, but they're willing to look at it, work on it. And again, be responsible. I've seen a situation where NetSert have given a refund because we tried a campaign and it didn't work, and we put our money where our mouth is. So while that's not the standard, and I'm sure all NetSert people on here are like, Maddie, why did you say that? You want to work with someone that you trust with your business. Again, your business is your baby. So I get it. Well, that is it for me on this St. Patrick's Day. Does anyone have any questions? Wants to chat at all? I see the chat is very empty. Okay. What are the major differences between NetSertive and competitors? So one of the biggest things that struck me as impressive was, one, the proprietary software. So we've built our own software. The software was built originally for small mom and pop shops and grown to grow those specific shops. More recently, they've realized that works very well in the franchise space. So they've been fine tuning the tech to specifically deliver results. Sorry, I just read another question. Specifically does deliver results for localized franchise location. The biggest thing too is scale. If you say, you know, here's my area, here's my money, help me with my ads, they're gonna send those live in, you know, days or, you know, a couple weeks. And it's all gonna be localized with your local address, your phone number, your website, which is stuff that can be a real pain in the butt if you have to do that yourself. And then also the support level. So every one of our accounts, and I'm not just talking brand level, I'm talking individual franchisees have their own account manager. They have someone that is caring for their business on a personal level and discussing with them, whether it's weekly calls or monthly calls, having that support to make sure the technology is doing its job and any sort of questions you have on the data, you're able to answer, which is a lot of what our competitors do not have. With us, we are able to give kind of everyone the A squad because the technology does most of the lift for us. On the competitor side, they have people doing the work and the support as well. You say be patient, and then you mentioned fail fast. Are there areas that really need time and what does not? Yes. So I say be patient in that in a holistic view, your digital, just as you open a business, you know, you open a business and you're not going to see floods and floods and floods of people, right? It's not going to be Black Friday at Kohl's. So just like that's the same thing with your digital business, it's going to grow over time. So, and I mean that in a bit, be patient that way. Your social media, you're not going to open it and have 15,000 followers. Give it time to grow. However, when you've got money on the line, whether it's your Google ads, your vendors, maybe it's a social media partner, that's when I'm talking about failing fast, and failing fast within that 3-month time span. That's going to be the most important to fail fast. If something's, I mean, I've seen franchisees that held on to vendors for a year or 2 years just because they were like, well, maybe they'll turn it around. And that's a lot of wasted money. So that's kind of what I mean about fail fast. What really needs time, needing time, meaning around 3 months, is usually, you know, the digital ads. So you can gather enough data to see what's working and what's not. What is the difference of what a Google ad should look like and say versus a social ad if they're both looking for leads? So we can take this offline, Rob, as well, and I can definitely send out examples to the entire group. Usually Google is much more straightforward. It's not pictures, it's specific keywords, usually a promo. And then social media tends to be much more conversational with a picture. Hey, are you looking for this? Or maybe it's a more conversational text with a different type of image. It's kind of hard to explain, but I will definitely send out not only this nice little leprechaun presentation, but also examples of that to all you guys after. For B2B, what are your favorite? Are Etsy, TikTok, and Instagram worth any attention? So Instagram, yes. And I say that because one, it's connected to Facebook. So anything you buy on Facebook, you can also automate on Instagram. And I also say that because they're also owned by, you know, Meta or whatever. So it's really all connecting. Just like when you're typing in a search ad and, you know, Orlando mosquito, and usually, you know, Mosquito Joe, Mosquito Shield, Orlando, like their Facebooks are going to come up right after that paid ad. That's for a reason. They're all kind of owned similarly and all the interconnections there. So Instagram for sure. Etsy and TikTok, I haven't done any advertising with Etsy, so I am not in a place to say. I have not heard any franchises in any space using them. So it's definitely something we can look into. And again, TikTok, it's great for brand awareness, but I really would be cautious on advertising there or putting too much of your specific time into that unless, you know, you've delegated all of your times appropriately, simply because, again, that's probably not where your market is going to be. And a lot of times people are on TikTok scrolling nonstop. They're not there to look and then be redirected to another place. So just be cautious. Do you have a favorite platform to use to sell online courses. I'm not sure what you mean there. If you want to explain it a little more in the question. Next question, sell coaching courses. I'm not sure. That is a question that we can take offline. If you're selling coaching courses, I would say you definitely probably want to be definitely obviously Google, and then you're using your social media because it's an online course and it's in a very saturated market. You're going to want to be where everyone is. So that's probably the best bet for you. Top CRMs for startups and small businesses. I love HubSpot. I am a HubSpot fanatic. They're great. I also know they can be pretty expensive. So there are ways in which you can use a HubSpot CRM and you can lower the cost, or you can do it for free. And you might not just have access to some of the more advanced stuff, but I definitely recommend there. It's super user-friendly. Their support is amazing. And definitely, you know, a very, very good CRM to start. Then of course, Salesforce is the guru. That's usually for more advanced businesses. And there's some other ones out there like Naranja and Marketo, which are still great, not as user-friendly, a little more what I like to call bulky, but still get the job done nonetheless. Online course tools, Teachables, Learn, LMS. Not sure, PJ, maybe I answered your question with selling your online courses there. Is there anyone else that has any questions? And of course, let me take you back to the original slide. Please connect with me. Here's my email. Here's my LinkedIn. If you come up with any questions later, and I also will answer, you know, questions, send out examples that were from the chat as well. You can find me here. Do you have any rules of thumb for marketing budgets? So it's always going to be more than you want to spend, right? We want to spend $10 and get 20 in return. This is when you should lean on your home office and your vendors for, you know, your regular cost per lead, your recommended spends, because they're going to be pulling data from all different types of either business history or competitors. So they're usually the professionals are going to be able to recommend a good budget for at least for your digital, and where you're going to spend and see a return and you're not going to overspend. And it really depends on the size of your business. You know, I'm not going to recommend a huge marketing budget for a growing location, whereas, you know, I have a multi-location and it needs to be that high. So I think the most important thing here is take a look at your checklist of what's needed, meaning you've got your digital, you got to order yard signs, you got to do a van wrap or whatever. And then say, okay, I have this much money to spend, what's usually recommended, and allocate it that way, instead of saying, you know, what's all ideally, what do I want to put in all of these different pots, and here's my total. So kind of work backwards, if you will. But again, I don't know, like a typical digital budget could run anywhere from $1,000 a month up per location. Oh, you can't find me on LinkedIn. Is that QR code not working? I'll find you on LinkedIn. Don't worry. Okay. That's annoying. Well, I will find you guys on LinkedIn and I'll friend you. Just, you know, accept, please. Thank you, NetSertive, aka Megan. My LinkedIn's right in the chat. So if there's any more questions, let me know. If not, I know I just completely overloaded you with information. You're like, oh my God, I'm wasting money and I hate digital media. But you know, the good thing is it's St. Patrick's Day, so you can have a beer at any time. Steve, don't fire me for saying that. And of course, you know, we're already a preferred vendor in your network. Feel free to give us a call. Even if it's just a discovery call. Our salespeople are amazing. They are also small business owners or franchisees currently. They get it. Highly recommend. And they can take you through the more technical demos so you can actually see, you know, what it is you're getting. But again, spend on digital if you don't do anything, and everything else, like I said, layer in, and your business will thank you for it. So that is the time I have today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.